Parker Schnabel, the fearless gold miner, almost lost everything, but not because of bad luck or broken machines. Instead, he got a shocking health diagnosis that turned his whole world upside down. His unwavering drive, which had been his biggest asset, turned out to be his biggest weakness. Years of non-stop mining had pushed Parker's body to the limit, and it finally gave out in the most devastating way. Let's look at the twists in his fight for survival and the moment that had everyone holding their breath. The guy from Gold Rush who is known for being tough as nails and has been running mines since he was a teenager recently hit a huge problem. This time it wasn't because of broken machines or bad weather, it was his health, which knocked him off his feet. But then Parker sent a mysterious message that made everyone wonder if this was the worst thing that could happen. Imagine being young, fit, and great at what you do, and then all of a sudden a doctor tells you news that changes everything. That's exactly what happened. 1 minute Parker is digging up shiny things and the next he's facing a diagnosis that would shake anyone to their core. It wasn't something that could be fixed with hard work and determination, this was a life-changing diagnosis. People around Parker were shocked, he was like a machine, working crazy hours and dealing with stress like it wasn't a problem. But it turns out that all those years of pushing himself had a price tag. His friends and family didn't see it coming, and honestly, nobody is invincible, not even the guy who's been running gold mines like a pro since most of us were learning how to microwave popcorn. Here's the thing about Parker, he doesn't give up easily. When the news came, he didn't just give up, he jumped right into figuring out what to do next, treating his health problems like they were just another problem to solve. But this wasn't a quick fix, he had to go through endless tests, treatments, and sleepless nights. It was hard, but Parker didn't give up. He relied on his family, friends, and, let's be honest, maybe some of his stubbornness that made him so good at mining. Of course, it wasn't all motivational posters, there were times when it got really dark, painful, and frustrating, the kind of things that make you wonder if it's all worth it. Parker's life as a gold miner taught him one important thing, though: don't give up just because something is hard. Little by little, he started to see little wins, a better test result here, a day with less pain there. This whole ordeal didn't just mess up Parker's body, it also messed up his mind. It made him rethink everything. For years, it's been all about success and getting better, but now he's looking at life differently. He's spending time with old friends, picking up hobbies he'd put on hold, and just breathing. It turns out there's more to life than running the biggest gold operation in the Yukon. Parker isn't out of the woods yet, recovery isn't a neat little timeline, it's messy. With a new perspective, health comes first now. He balances work with things that make him happy, like spending time with loved ones and enjoying the quiet moments. He seems better for it. Parker's story has had a big impact, it's not just about him, it's about how we all deal with hard things. His journey got people talking about resilience, mental health, and leaning on your community when things get tough. By talking about his struggles, Parker didn't just share his story, it made people think. Parker's story also shows how easy it is to forget about your health when you're trying to be successful. For years, his life was all about ounces of gold and growing his business. He'd skip meals, lose sleep, and ignore any signs that his body might be paying the price. But this diagnosis was the wake-up call that no one wants but everyone needs. It made him stop and realize that no success is worth your health or peace of mind. During his recovery, Parker found himself. He was re-evaluating his goals because he'd always thought of himself as someone who couldn't slow down. The thought of taking a break made him feel strange and uncomfortable, but now he's learning that taking care of yourself isn't weakness, it's smart. He's setting limits, making time for things that make him happy outside of work, and listening to his body for a change. The mining world is tough and relentless, and it doesn't leave much room for vulnerability, but Parker's honesty about his struggles is starting to change that culture. That kind of honesty is hard to find in any job, let alone one as rough and competitive as gold mining. Parker's willingness to share could help other people feel less alone in their struggles as he continues to navigate this new chapter. His fans are still rooting for him, he's still the determined, hard-working guy they've always admired, but now there's a depth to him that makes his story even more interesting. His setbacks don't define him, his resilience does, and that's what. Life's challenges have a way of bringing things down to what's most important to Parker. That's become crystal clear. Whether he's mining for gold or fixing his health, he's focused on what matters, taking care of himself, appreciating the people who support him, and finding meaning beyond the grind. That's a lesson we could all learn. Parker Schnabel thought he could handle anything until this happened. He picked himself up after being betrayed and refused to let it define him. To protect his business, he put in place more security measures, such as better cameras and stricter access controls. These changes weren't just to protect his equipment, they were also to give him back his peace of mind. Knowing that his site was safe again let him focus on what he does best, mining for gold and leading his team through tough times. This experience, as painful as it was, became a turning point for him because it made him rethink who he trusts with running his business. He is still cautious, but he hasn't let the betrayal made him bitter, but he chose to see it as a lesson that will make him stronger and more resilient in the long run. His story is a stark reminder that betrayal can come from the strangest places. It's a cautionary tale for anyone who puts their faith in others. It shows how important it is to be vigilant without losing sight of the good in people, even when they've been betrayed, and it shows that setbacks are just opportunities for comebacks as he moves forward. He's focused on rebuilding. The theft was a sad event in Rick Nes's life, but it won't be the end of his story. With his characteristic toughness and the unwavering support of his team and fans, he will turn this setback into yet another example of his strength. If gold mining has taught him anything, it's that the hardest battles lead to the richest rewards, and he is more determined than ever to get what's rightfully his. This isn't the first time Rick has faced hardship, and it probably won't be the last. Having to deal with broken equipment, dangerous terrain, and constant pressure to meet quotas are all normal parts of the job. But betrayal, especially from someone so close, was a whole new challenge that tested his resolve in a way that broken equipment never could. As the weeks turned into months, the theft's effects lingered. It wasn't just about replacing stolen items, it was also about boosting the morale of his crew and the trust in his circle. Mining is already a high-stakes game where losing time and resources to theft made things even harder, with problems spreading far beyond Rick's operation. His ability to adapt in the face of this hardship shows how determined he was. For Rick, rebuilding wasn't an option, it was a necessity. His livelihood depended on it. He started by putting tasks in order of importance to stabilize his operation. First, he replaced the stolen tools. Some tools were replaced through orders. Others were borrowed from other miners who felt sorry for him. It wasn't quick or easy, but it was a step in the right direction. Besides fixing the things he lost, Rick also worked on fixing relationships in the community. While some people supported him, others questioned his decision to involve the police. For Rick, it wasn't a personal choice, it was a practical one. Letting theft go unpunished sets a bad example, especially in a community that depends so much on mutual respect. He knew that working together wasn't just about justice, but also about setting an example for how these kinds of problems would be dealt with in the future. The rebuilding process wasn't easy. Skeptics in the community voiced their opinions, which created a tense atmosphere. Rick, on the other hand, stayed focused on his goals. He knew that dwelling on negativity would only take his attention away from what needed to be done. Every day, he worked tirelessly to get his business back to full capacity, making sure that his team had all the tools and resources they needed. Despite the difficulties, Rick found moments of inspiration along the way. Messages from fans offering help and small successes in his operation reminded him that he wasn't alone, which fueled his determination and served as a beacon of hope during an otherwise difficult time. Rick's strength became not only a personal triumph but also an inspiration to many who followed his path. One of the most important lessons Rick learned from this experience was how important it was to stay alert while he was working. The theft was a stark reminder that cost is important. Improving his site security wasn't just about stopping future incidents, it was also about giving him back his sense of control. For Rick, knowing that his operation was secure gave him a new sense of confidence and focus. As he continues his path, he stays committed to the values that have always defined him: hard work, loyalty, and persistence. While the betrayal was a painful chapter, it didn't define him. Instead, it pushed him to do better. His ability to get through tough situations shows that people can still be successful even when things go wrong. Looking ahead, Rick is more determined than ever to reach his goals. The theft may have slowed him down, but it didn't stop him. With the help of his crew, his fans, and the lessons he's learned along the way, Rick is ready to turn this challenge into yet another victory. His story is a reminder that people can do great things even when things go wrong. Resilience, determination, and a strong belief in yourself can help you get through even the hardest problems. After every problem comes a chance to show not only skill but also the will to keep going when it's hardest. A hard road to mining success, he made a name for himself in the cutthroat world of gold mining, going from being part of Parker Schnabel's crew to running his own operation. He has taken risks that have paid off big, sometimes bigger than anyone expected. His career has had many ups and downs, but what sets him apart is his ability to get back on his feet. Let's look at the goldfield highlights of his mining career and see how dirt was turned into millions. Parker Schnabel's team was where he learned the ropes and earned a reputation as a hard worker. But staying in someone else's shadow was never part of the plan. By season 9 of Gold Rush, it was time to bet on his own skills. Running an independent mining operation was not easy, but the first season set a goal of mining 1,015 ounces of gold. Not only did they meet their goal, they surpassed it, bringing in over $1 million in gold in just one season for their first attempt at independence. It was impressive, it was a statement, but success didn't come without a lot of wet dirt and unwavering determination. By season 12, the stakes were higher than ever. Mining operations are expensive, and with bigger goals came bigger challenges. In episode 5 of that season, the crew struck gold. Their hard work paid off with a $173,000 payout. This was their biggest find of the season and showed they had what it took to keep climbing the success ladder. Later in season 12, things got tougher when the landowner demanded that production be doubled or the mining claim would be at risk. Talk about high stakes. But instead of giving up, the crew made their biggest gold haul yet in episode 22. This wasn't just a big moment for the season, it was a career-defining moment as well. Buying the land outright secured operations for the future. Owning the claim wasn't just a financial win, it was proof of becoming a leader in the industry. Fast forward to season 14, and challenges weren't going away. Equipment breakdowns slowed down progress, but giving up isn't an option here. Buying a new water pump turned out to be a game-changer. With this new setup, over $155,000 worth of gold was found. It wasn't the biggest jackpot, but given the circumstances, it was a testament to being able to bounce back from setbacks and finding a way to succeed is the key to this career on Gold Rush. It's not just about the gold, it's about the hard work that went into getting there. Mining is a brutal job with long hours, harsh conditions, and huge risks. For every ounce of gold, there are hours of backbreaking labor, strategic decisions, and the ability to change course when things don't go as planned. It's not just about beating rich, it's about showing yourself and everyone watching that you have what it takes to win throughout the seasons on the show. From learning the ropes at Parker Schnabel's to becoming an independent operator with some of the biggest hauls in the show's history, the path has been one of growth and determination. Each year brought new challenges, but problems were never allowed to define the path. The ability to take risks, learn from mistakes, and keep pushing forward is what makes this one of Gold Rush's most inspiring stories. The gold may shine, but it's the work that goes on behind the scenes that really shines. It's been shown over and over again that it's possible to stay on top in the unpredictable world of gold mining, even when faced with problems with equipment, tight deadlines, or the pressure to do better than competitors. The focus stays on the task at hand. The numbers tell part of the story, thousands of ounces of gold and millions of dollars in payouts, but the real story is in the grit, determination, and heart that goes into it. The biggest gold discoveries may have made headlines, but it's the people who stick with it that stick around. From heavy equipment to gold dreams, life was already teaching him to be strong and ready for challenges he couldn't see yet. Gold wasn't just struck, it was earned 1 ounce at a time. The journey is far from over, and if history is any guide, the best finds may still be ahead. Gold mining isn't for the faint of heart, but for some it's more than just a job, it's a calling. As the seasons change, one thing is certain, waves will continue to be made in the gold mining world. Born on March 5, 1981, in Escanaba. A blue-collar family in Michigan that ran a construction company set the stage for success. Days were spent working hard with loud machines and learning skills that would come in handy in ways that no one could have imagined. Along with his twin brother Randy, he spent most of his childhood behind the controls of heavy machinery, developing an instinct for machines that would one day prove invaluable. This wasn't just a job, it was a crash course in resilience. As a teenager, he wanted to play football and went to Escanaba Area High School. At school, he stood out as a talented athlete. Football wasn't just a hobby for him, it was a passion, and he poured himself into it to the point where he earned a spot on his college team. But life had other plans. A devastating head injury ended his football career, crushing his dreams of get glory. Forced to pivot, he found himself at a crossroads, unsure of how to channel his energy and ambition. By the early 2000s, he had traded the football field for a new stage, the music world. In 2003, he moved to Milwaukee, Wisconsin with his mom Judy Marie Bard, a choice that would change his whole life. Music wasn't just a hobby for him, it became a way for him to express himself. A year later, he joined the 357-string band, a group known for combining bluegrass with punk to create a gritty sound that fit his personality. He picked up the upright bass, and the band quickly gained popularity, putting out 3 albums over the next 6 years, Ghost Town in 2006, Fire and Hail in 2008, and Lightning from the North in 2010. The band toured non-stop, playing to packed houses and building a loyal fan base. But by 2011, the road had taken its toll, and the group broke up again. He started looking for the next big thing. That next big thing came out of nowhere when he met Parker Schnabel, a young gold miner who had already become famous on the Discovery Channel's Gold Rush. At the time, he had no experience in mining, but what he did that day at the Southeast Alaskan State Fair was amazing. He made up for what he didn't know with sheer determination. 9 months after their first meeting, Parker offered him a job on his crew. The transition wasn't easy, but his background in construction gave him an advantage. He knew how to use heavy machinery, which helped him learn quickly in the rough and tumble world of gold mining. His big break came during Season 3 of Gold Rush. The work was hard and the stakes were high, but he thrived under pressure. By Season 5, he'd shown enough promise to earn a promotion too. As Parker's right-hand man, he was in charge of running the show and making sure everyone stayed on track. It was a tough job that required leadership, problem-solving, and a lot of grit, which he had been working on his whole life. For 6 seasons, he stood by Parker and helped him find a lot of gold, which made the show a fan favorite. Was Rick Ness's betrayal just an act of greed, or was there a bigger plan to ruin his success? Let us know what you think, and don't forget to like and comment. Sign up to get more.